Our founders, since day one, recognized that the only thing in terms of sustainable competitive advantage that we could have as a company would be the people we could attract, retain, develop, and the principles by which they live, the shared principles and shared mindset, which we call culture. That would be the only thing that could really separate us from other competitors. But if you're in a consumer goods company, a lot of people think that the most important thing are your brands, your warehouses, your breweries, your assets, in other words. And that's, of course, very important because, in a way, that's what consumers see and buy. You know, they pay a premium for our brands, and that's the business. But we know that, just like you, the most important thing we have in our company is our people. That's really because you look at a brand that's successful. Take Bud Light, take Stella Artois, Corona. Behind that brand, you have people that understand consumers, that have the right insights, and are able to execute according to those insights day in, day out. And they build an amazing brand. So our founders, from the day one, they said the important things for us to build a great company, and you can never be sure you'll get there, but to get on that journey, are three things really. And that's what we call dream, people, and culture. So dream is this idea that because we are the company, so myself and the 150,000 colleagues around the world, we are the company. So if we're progressing, learning, excited about the future, in the business of creating the future and exciting our consumers and all that, so is the company. But instead of having a vision, a mission, or something like that, let's have a dream, a big dream, because that's something that everybody understands what that is. And our dream is to build the best of your company, bringing people together for a better world. The second one is that you can only dream big if you have a great group of people, if you have talented people. Mediocre people, it's hard for them to dream big. They're not willing to go for it. Talented people, that's all they want, because they know they only live once. Life's too short anyway for you to accomplish everything you have in your mind. So why not do something that you can look back years from now and be able to say, I was part of it, I'm proud of it. So this idea of having great people is something that's very interesting, because what we learned throughout the years is that great people attract more of the same. We also believe that great people want to be stretched all the time. They want to be exposed. They want to have a bigger bone that they think they might be able to chew. And we believe in that. We believe in what we call crazy promotions and getting people out of their comfort zone. If the company, the group, is the addition, the summation of everybody, if people are learning like this, so is the company, so is the group. So we have to keep people stretched. So this idea that you can only build a great company if you have great people to start with, and then you give them something big to do, but first get the right people in the bus, that's very important. And in doing that, we learned that great people like a couple things. First, they like an environment where meritocracy is the name of the game. They like an environment where the best people advance faster, further, are more exposed, have more opportunity, and also build their wealth accordingly. It's very easy to say meritocracy, but then you're in a situation where there's a vacancy, and all of a sudden you can promote John or Mary. And John has been in the company for 20 years. Everybody likes John, great guy, steady Eddie. And then you have Mary. She's been in the company for 3 or 4 years, amazing potential, delivers on everything, builds great teams, inspires people, always willing to take more responsibility. She should be the one. But you're saying, well, if I promote Mary, a lot of people ask questions. If I promote John, Mary's not going to be very happy. But Mary has the whole life ahead of her, right? So let me do John now. Next time I'll do Mary. John, it's next in line. All those wrong thoughts, right? But it's easy to fall in that trap. And then you promote John. Maybe the Johns of the company will be very happy, but the Marys of the company will be very unhappy. And if you do that maybe a second time, they'll just leave. Because great people can always find a position in the market. They're always in high demand, no matter if the market's up or down. Right? So meritocracy is the first thing. The other thing is this idea of candor, that you have to be honest with people. Great people want to know where they stand. They want to know what's working, what's not working, because then if they know what the gaps are, they have an opportunity to work on those gaps. Again, life's too short, and really be better, at what they're doing. And it's common that people ask, hey, Brito, you've been all this time with the company, you had this career and all that. What was important for you? What made a difference in your career? And I say, well, many things made a difference. I do what I like, I love, and I work hard and all that, like everybody else. You know, luck is something that counts, being the right place at the right time. But I think more than any of this is having people that are interested in your success and therefore are willing to tell you what you need to hear, not what you'd like to hear. And I've had many tough feedbacks in my life, but again, from people that were always interested in my success. And I think if you find those people, you have to really treasure them, because it's very rare to find people like that. And if it's constructive, you better listen to it and change accordingly. You'll never change 100%, but you know, little by little, you start closing those gaps. So that's something, candor, that's very important. The other thing is informality. Great people like to be in a place where they can speak up, ask questions. And I always say, as long as it's constructive and respectful, I don't mind you asking any questions, you know. But I think people want to know the answer, and they want to be able to speak up their mind. That's very important. Another thing that's very important is to work on something that's transformational, that can really be relevant, you know, that can really be sizable, that you can look back and say, man, I was part of that group. You know, again, life's too short. So that's what we have in mind every time we talk about great people, all those things. So again, we need to have a big dream. We need to have great people. And then we need to have a culture. And there are many words to talk about the culture. But I think the most important one is the one about ownership. This whole idea about working with people that feel that they own the company, because that's what, you know, we are the company, so we own the company, right? It's very different than people that believe they have a job, or they are a professional, that today they're working here, tomorrow they're working across the street. We don't like those people. Owners, why? Because owners make better decisions. Owners are in for the long haul. The problem with professionals and executives is that they're in the business of building their resume. They're not in the business of building a great company. We want people that come to us right out of undergrad and stay with us for 20, 30 years, because that's ownership. So when I talk about great people, and that was our second pillar, we always talk about how to not only recruit, but also retain. And that's why those things I talked about, you know, like informality, meritocracy, candor, and the opportunity to do something big, transformative, transformational is very important. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have those things, people will join you because they like what you said. And after 2, 3 years, you promote, you know, John and Mary and all that, and they'll just leave and go to the market. So we try very hard to keep people here. We always say here in the company that the true test of partnership is the year that you don't pay bonus. That's the true test. Because the years you're paying bonus and things are going well, everybody's for partnership, right? Because, you know, why not? It's great, it's working. But then the year, you create no value. But then people think, then maybe it's better to go to that other company. With the bonus very small, everybody gets the same, it's predictable, has nothing to do with the performance of the company. I remember in 2008, when the big financial crisis, you know, lots of companies had, were in the newspapers because their CEOs and top managers were getting bonus as if nothing was happening, and the shareholders were being killed. The share price going down and all that, but the management was making itself whole. We didn't have that problem. Again, I'm not saying we're perfect, far from it. We have gaps everywhere. But because our pay is for performance and it's aligned with shareholder value creation, in that year, like everybody else, most everybody else who had a bad year, and our bonus was zero. And that's when you know that partnership is working. And because you're in the company for the long term, what's a year in 30 years? That's why in our company we talk a lot about culture. Because, we've grown through mergers and acquisitions as well as the organic business. And every time we joined a company, combined with another company, it was always in the same line of business. But somehow we felt they were not performing at their best. And whenever we asked the question, what's different after getting to know their business, we always got back to the same 3 things. It was all about our group of people, for some reason, they were aiming higher than this other group. We had, not by luck, but because we invested and believe in, we have better people on average because we invested heavily, okay? And our guys felt that they owned the company. And that was the only thing that made a difference in our performance. And that's why we talk about it all the time. Because we believe that a lot of other companies take it for granted, don't talk about it because it's so obvious. So it's one of those things. It's easy to say, very hard to do it on a daily basis. And that's why we think you have to talk about it every day. You have to really, when you recruit people, you have to talk about those things. And if people don't buy into it, don't hire those people. Because it takes, in our experience, a lifetime to build something, a fabric. And if you start allowing, those people that don't belong there to be there, that whole magic can be destroyed very quickly.